The Awakening. Captain Maya Chen stood frozen on the observation deck of the EOS Horizon, her eyes fixed on the holographic display. The energy readings from Europa's surface defied all explanation. "Run the scan again," she ordered, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. Lieutenant Darius Reed shook his head. "Ma'am, I've run it 3 times. Something massive is powering up inside Europa's ice shell." The bridge fell silent, only the soft pulsing of the sensors cutting through the tension. Maya ran her fingers through her short dark hair, her mind racing through possibilities. The Horizon was just a research vessel, dispatched to investigate unusual radiation patterns in the Jupiter system. They weren't equipped for whatever this was. "Show me the exact location," she said. Darius's fingers danced across his console. The holographic Jupiter system rotated, then zoomed in on Europa. A pulsing red marker appeared beneath the ice sheet, near the subsurface ocean. "It started 40 minutes ago," he explained. "Energy readings are increasing exponentially." Communications Officer Imani Wilson turned in her chair. "Captain, we're receiving reports from the Mars outpost. They're detecting similar energy signatures." Maya's stomach tightened. "Just Mars?" "No," Imani said, her eyes widening as new reports flooded her screens. "The Moon, Titan, Ceres, even the research station on Pluto is reporting the same phenomenon, all occurring simultaneously." Dr. Elijah Winters, their chief scientist, was analyzing the data with trembling hands. "This is unprecedented. The patterns are identical at each location. It's as if something is waking up across the entire solar system." Outside the viewport, Europa's icy surface began to shift. Massive cracks formed, spreading like lightning across the frozen terrain as plumes of water vapor erupted into space. The crew watched in stunned silence as an enormous metallic structure emerged from beneath the ice, rising hundreds of meters above the surface. "What is that?" Darius whispered. Dr. Winters studied his readings. "It appears to be some kind of defense platform. But the technology, it's nothing like anything we've ever developed." Similar reports came in from across the solar system. On Mars, a colossal shield generator had risen from the Valles Marineris. On the Moon, what looked like a weapons array had emerged from the Aitken Basin. Near Pluto, a massive sensor platform unfurled like a mechanical flower. "The energy signatures are stabilizing," Darius reported. "Whatever these structures are, they seem to be fully activated now." Maya made a decision. "Take us closer to the Europa structure. Maintain safe distance but get better scans." As the Horizon approached, the Europa structure began to emit a soft blue light. Strange patterns flowed across its surface like luminescent rivers. "Captain," Imani called out. "We're receiving a transmission." Earth Command. "No, ma'am. It's coming from the structure itself." The main screen flickered. The bridge crew held their breath as text appeared, not in English, but in an ancient script that somehow morphed into modern languages before their eyes. Dr. Winters read it aloud. "When the darkness between stars brings danger, we stand ready to defend our children." "What does that mean?" Maya asked. Before anyone could answer, the ship's sensors blared an alarm. Darius checked his console, his face draining of color. "Captain, we're detecting multiple objects entering the solar system. Large vessels moving at incredible speed." Maya's blood ran cold. "Are they ours?" "No, ma'am. Nothing like our designs. They're not broadcasting any recognition codes." The Europa structure's glow intensified. Similar reports came from the other structures across the solar system. They were all activating further, responding to the approaching vessels. Dr. Winters looked up from his analysis. "Captain, I think I understand now. These aren't weapons we built. They're much older, possibly hundreds of thousands of years old." "What does that mean?" Maya asked. Before anyone could answer, the ship's sensors blared an alarm. Darius checked his console, his face draining of color. "Captain, we're detecting multiple objects entering the solar system. Large vessels moving at incredible speed." Maya's blood ran cold. Are they ours? No, ma'am. Nothing like our designs. They're not broadcasting any recognition codes. The Europa structure's glow intensified. Similar reports came from the other structures across the solar system. They were all activating further, responding to the approaching vessels. Dr. Winters looked up from his analysis. Captain, I think I understand now. These aren't weapons we built. They're much older, possibly hundreds of thousands of years old. That's impossible, Maya said. Human civilization isn't that old. Maybe not the civilization we know, Dr. Winters replied. But what if there was an earlier human age? What if our ancestors once reached the stars, then fell back to Earth? The approaching ships slowed as they reached the outer solar system. Their formation suggested military precision. The Europa structure projected a new message above the horizon. Defense Jurid Elfe no dodu o line. Threat assessment initated. Maya understood in that moment. They built this system to protect us. Our ancestors knew someone would come eventually. The defense grid hummed with power across the solar system, ready to meet the visitors, whoever or whatever they might be. 3 days later, Maya stood in the observation lounge of the Ganymede station, watching as the alien fleet maintained position just beyond Neptune's orbit. United Earth government officials had been shuttled in from every colony and research station, creating a hastily assembled response team. Admiral Victor Hayes paced the room, his weathered face grim as he addressed the assembled leaders. We've made contact with the alien vessels. They call themselves the Valhari. Their message was simple: surrender control of the weapons systems that have activated, or they will take them by force. Have they explained why they want our defense grid? Asked Director Julia Santos of the UEG Science Division. They claim the technology belongs to them, Hayes replied. That we primitive species have no right to such power. Maya stepped forward. Admiral, the data we've gathered from the Europa structure suggests otherwise. The defense grid recognizes human genetic signatures. It responds to our commands, at least partially. The room erupted in debate until Dr. Winters cleared his throat. The scientist had barely slept since the discovery, his eyes red-rimmed but bright with excitement. I've been analyzing the data streams from all 7 structures, he said. There's a vast amount of information being transmitted between them. Historical records, technical specifications, and a message. It keeps repeating one phrase in what appears to be Proto-Indo-European language. The children have come home. Silence fell over the room. Are you suggesting, Admiral Hayes asked carefully, that humans built this? Not these humans, Dr. Winters replied. But our ancestors, yes. The defense grid includes genetic archives dating back over 300,000 years. It suggests that humanity once had a vast interstellar civilization, until something drove them back to Earth and forced them to start over. The Valhari, Director Santos asked. Unknown, but the defense grid sees them as a threat, which suggests some historical connection. A young lieutenant burst into the room. Admiral, the Valhari fleet is moving. They've accelerated toward Mars. On the main screen, they watched as 3 massive Valhari warships approached the red planet. The Mars defense structure immediately responded, a brilliant beam of energy lancing out from its surface. The beam didn't strike the ships, but formed a barrier, preventing their approach. Warning shot, Admiral Hayes murmured. The defense grid is showing remarkable restraint. It's waiting for our command, Maya realized. It won't fire unless we authorize it. The largest Valhari vessel suddenly fired upon the Mars structure. The energy blast dissipated harmlessly against an invisible shield. The room's communication system activated, and a harsh, guttural voice filled the space, translated through the defense grid systems. Humans, you possess technology stolen from the ancient enemies of the Valhari Dominion. Surrender it immediately, or we will reduce your worlds to ash. You have 12 Earth hours to comply. The transmission ended. Admiral Hayes looked around the room, his expression grim. Recommendations. We can't surrender the defense grid, Maya said immediately. It's the only thing keeping them at bay. But we barely understand how to control it, countered another official. What if we make a mistake? Dr. Winters stepped forward, holding a small device recovered from the lunar structure. This interface module is designed for human use. The grid wants us to take control. It's practically begging us to. I think it's been waiting for humans to evolve back to a point where we could operate it again. Admiral Hayes nodded slowly. Dr. Winters, Captain Chen, assemble a team. Learn everything you can about this defense grid in the next 12 hours. The rest of us need to prepare Earth for possible conflict. As the meeting dispersed, Maya found herself standing beside Dr. Winters at the viewport, staring out at the distant flashes of light where the defense grid was positioning itself. Do you think we're ready for this? She asked quietly. To inherit the stars. Dr. Winters smiled grimly. Ready or not, the galaxy has noticed us, and something our ancestors built is giving us a fighting chance. In the void of space, the ancient defense grid continued its silent vigil, awaiting the commands of its long-lost children who had finally returned home. The proving ground. The 12-hour deadline approached with merciless precision. Inside the hastily established command center on Ganymede Station, Maya watched as Dr. Winters and his team worked frantically to decipher the defense grid's controls. I've mapped about 60% of the basic functions, Winters reported, his fingers dancing across the ancient interface. Defensive capabilities, sensor arrays, communication systems. But there's something deeper, a core intelligence that's partially locked to us. Why would our ancestors lock us out of our own technology? Maya asked. Admiral Hayes, who had been listening silently, cleared his throat. Security protocol, perhaps. They wouldn't want children playing with weapons. And that's what we are to them, Dr. Winters said softly. Children. The defense grid's historical archives suggest our ancestors deliberately regressed human civilization on Earth, a sanctuary project after some catastrophic interstellar war. They wanted us to develop independently, naturally, until we were ready to rejoin the stars. A lieutenant approached with a datapad. Admiral, the Valhari fleet is broadcasting again. The main screen flickered to life, revealing a towering reptilian figure with iridescent scales and 4 amber eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. Elaborate armor encased its muscular frame, and a translator device pulsed at its throat. I am Supreme Commander Kraz Full of the Valhari Dominion, the alien announced. Your time expires. What is your answer? Admiral Hayes stepped forward. This is Admiral Victor Hayes of the United Earth Government. We've determined that the defense system belongs to humanity by right of inheritance. We cannot surrender what is rightfully ours. The Valhari commander's upper eyes narrowed. Inheritance. You primitive mammals claim kinship with the ancients. Impossible. Nevertheless, Hayes continued, we offer peaceful dialogue. There's no need for conflict. Your ancestors understood that submission is the only peace the Valhari offer. Krazful snarled. They fought us across 1,000 worlds until we drove them back to that insignificant blue speck, and now their forgotten weapons awaken to their children, who don't even remember their own heritage. The communication abruptly ended. Well, Hayes said grimly, that confirms Dr. Winters' theory. Alarms suddenly blared throughout the station. Multiple Valhari vessels are accelerating toward Earth, a tactical officer shouted. They've launched some kind of high-velocity projectiles. On the tactical display, they watched as the lunar defense structure responded instantly. Beams of concentrated energy lashed out, vaporizing the incoming projectiles. Simultaneously, the Mars defense platform created what appeared to be a spatial distortion that slowed the approaching Valhari ships. The grid is defending us automatically, Dr. Winters said, but it's operating at minimal capacity. It's waiting for our authorization to engage fully. Maya looked at Admiral Hayes. Sir, I believe I've established enough connection with the Europa node to issue strategic commands. Hayes hesitated only briefly. Do it, Captain. Maya approached the ancient interface and placed her palm against its surface. A soft blue light scanned her hand, then expanded to envelop her entire body. When she spoke, her voice was steady. Defense Grid Alpha, this is Captain Maya Chen of Earth. Humanity acknowledges your service and authorizes defensive operations against the Valhari threat. Protect Earth and all human settlements. The interface pulsed with light. Across the solar system, all 7 defense structures simultaneously brightened, their energy signatures tripling in intensity. A voice, neither male nor female, but hauntingly human, filled the command center. Full authorization accepted. Defense protocols ENJGD. Welcome home. HFY Stories of Earth. The tactical display transformed, showing a level of detail that their own systems could never achieve. They watched in awe as the defense grid deployed technology beyond their comprehension. Spatial distortions, energy shields that spanned thousands of kilometers, and weapon systems that seemed to bend the very laws of physics. "My God," whispered Admiral Hayes. The Valhari fleet responded with unexpected ferocity. Hundreds of smaller craft poured from the larger vessels, accelerating toward the defense structures. The space around Neptune erupted in flashes of light as the Pluto sensor array detected and tracked every ship, feeding targeting data to the other nodes. The Valhari fleet responded with unexpected ferocity. Hundreds of smaller craft poured from the larger vessels, accelerating toward the defense structures. The space around Neptune erupted in flashes of light as the Pluto sensor array detected and tracked every ship, feeding targeting data to the other nodes. "They're adapting to our defenses," Maya observed. "They fought this technology before." Dr. Winters was studying the new data string from the grid. "The system is unlocking more of its archives to us. It's teaching us, showing us our history." Holographic images appeared around them. Ancient humans in advanced spacecraft, colonies on distant worlds, and devastating battles against familiar reptilian forms. The rise and fall of a human interstellar empire played out before their eyes. "The Valhari nearly exterminated us 50,000 years ago," Dr. Winters translated. "Our ancestors sacrificed their civilization to create a hidden sanctuary on Earth, protected by this automated defense system. They erased all knowledge of our cosmic history so the Valhari would believe they'd succeeded. And we've been rebuilding ever since," Maya said softly, unaware of our true heritage. A massive explosion drew their attention back to the tactical display. One of the defense structures on Ceres had taken critical damage from a concentrated Valhari attack. The system automatically compensated, rerouting power from the other nodes. "They know the grid's weaknesses," Admiral Hayes said grimly. "This isn't going to be an easy victory." Earth's military forces mobilized, dispatching every available ship to support the defense grid. It wasn't much compared to the ancient technology, but human ingenuity combined with the grid's power proved effective. Small, agile Earth vessels darted between the massive Valhari ships, exploiting vulnerabilities that the defense grid identified. Throughout the battle, more of the grid's archives unlocked, streaming information about advanced technologies, star maps, and tactical data on the Valhari. Knowledge that humanity had once possessed and lost. On the 3rd day of the conflict, the tide turned. The defense grid, now operating at nearly full capacity and coordinating seamlessly with human forces, executed a brilliant maneuver. The Europa node generated a gravity well that trapped half the Valhari fleet, while the Titan structure projected a field that disabled their weapon systems. Supreme Commander Krasful's flagship, cornered and damaged, broadcast a final message. "This is not over, children of the ancients. You have forgotten much, but the Valhari never forget. We will return with forces that will overwhelm even your inheritance." The Valhari fleet retreated, jumping to faster-than-light speeds beyond Neptune's orbit. Earth had won its first interstellar conflict. In the aftermath, Maya stood with Dr. Winters on the observation deck of the Horizon, now orbiting Earth. Below them, their home planet glowed blue and peaceful, unaware of how close it had come to destruction. "The defense grid has fully integrated with our systems," Dr. Winters said. "It's offering us access to all its knowledge now, faster than light travel, terraforming technology, even the locations of former human colonies." "We're not the same people who built this system," Maya said. "We've evolved, developed our own path. And that may be our greatest strength. The grid's records show our ancestors were arrogant, expansionist. Their aggression triggered the war with the Valhari. We have a chance to do better." Admiral Hayes joined them, looking out at the stars. "The United Earth government has decided. We're establishing a new organization, the Solar Defense Authority, to work with the grid and prepare for the Valhari's return. Captain Chen, they want you to lead it." Maya's eyes widened. "Me?" "The defense grid responded to you first. The technical teams believe there's something in your specific genetic sequence that closely matches the original builders. In their eyes, you're the rightful inheritor." Maya looked back toward the stars, thinking about the vast galaxy beyond, filled with wonders and dangers, and perhaps other human colonies that had survived and evolved on their own paths. "The Valhari will return," she said quietly. "Yes," Hayes agreed. "But next time, we'll be ready. Humanity has remembered who we are." In the depths of space, the ancient defense grid hummed with renewed purpose, its systems fully awakened after millennia of patient waiting. The children of Earth had finally come of age, ready to reclaim their heritage among the stars. And across the galaxy, word spread quickly. The forgotten children of the ancients had remembered their name, and the stars themselves would never be the same again.